Welcome to episode 2 of our 10-minute watercolor tutorials. I'm Bill Holkham, and today I'll show you how to paint a beautiful beginner-friendly landscape in just 10 minutes. Today we are using a palette of colors from our friends at Deep Deep Light, a great little set of handmade pigments, so I'll link those below. You can use something like a number 12 brush when laying down the clear water. I'll leave gaps here and there because we want a few white fluffy clouds. It's not a very complicated sky, so nice and easy for beginners. That blue on the new colors is Ultra France. Lay that down, let it fuse in to the areas where we want some white clouds. And the most distant headlands and islands, etc., I go over those, but the nearest one I painted around because I want that to stand out more. You can use a tissue to mop up and soften edges of the white clouds, as I'm doing now. That's a useful trick for achieving nice fluffy clouds at the edges of the clouds. And as always, dry off with a hairdryer and it dries lighter. Then for those most distant headlands and islands, you actually use a combination of your blue and some red, um, so they dull into the distance, and dry those off. Then the closest landmass there, we've got some of the yellow, which is permanent light yellow, and some of the green, which is green woodpecker. So lay down some of the yellow, go to a smaller brush. You decide what size you want, maybe a number 6 or something like that. You could go smaller still. And whilst it's wet, lay on the green woodpecker at the top and let that fuse into the yellow. Then I've also added some dragonfly blue, letting that fuse in. Trying to leave it light at the bottom where it meets the water. Then we got this quite close area of land jutting out as a sort of peninsula. We're using the same process. Just lay down the light color first, then go to your darker colors. Got some grey ochre and burnt umber going on there to darken certain areas. And we've got some white sand jutting out from that little peninsula, which we're going to paint around when we do the water. Now mixing up a good amount of blue and adding a little bit of grey ochre to it because I want some depth to it. And using a number 12 brush, working quite quickly. All along, I'm happy to leave a little slither of white paper in the distance there, just below those land masses where it meet the water. And also at the top of this little peninsula that juts out. So come down a good way avoiding the white area of sand, which we call negative painting. And of course, this is, as always, the English style of transparent watercolor, where we use the whites of the paper for our whites. We paint around subjects like this, and thus called negative painting. Then you can mix up a greenish mixture. You can see what I use on the palette there. You can use dragonfly blue and some green woodpecker, combination of the two. Lay those down and let it fuse in to the blue that you've already laid down previously. And you can use some more of that as we get closer to the shore, a weaker version, because the water is a shallow area and therefore lighter. Whereas in the distance, it's much deeper water and therefore stronger in color. And I'm purposefully leaving lines. You see here, I'm leaving light sections in between. That helps. It's much more interesting, and it can also indicate some of the cloud shadows on the water here and there. Not that there's a lot of cloud, but nevertheless, there is some. And on the left-hand side there, I want that to be especially deep and dark. It also helps show up the lights on that little jutting out peninsula there with the white sand as well. So achieve quite a nice variety as I'm doing in this demonstration with those lines with light between. This paper, as you can see, is taped down because it is 140 pounds as opposed to the usual 300 pound, but still a rough texture. On the shoreline there, we've got some rocks, which is quite good for us artistically because we like the foreground to be dark if possible. And those rocks are helping us achieve that. That then helps push the viewer's eye up into the painting. So you decide what sort of mixture you want. It could be some of that ultra France, and it could be the grey ochre, burnt umber, etc., to achieve a dark colour. And use a smaller brush to get detail of little pebbles and little rocks and so forth on the sand. And you'll want some shadow here and there, so a grey mixture in between those little rocks, little crevices and so forth. And you'll see also on that wet sand, I did use that scraping technique that I mentioned in a number of my tutorials. Side of the brush, not too much water with the pigment, quite dry, and then just scraping and making use of the texture of the paper. For these little dune areas, I laid down some yellow and then whilst wet, laid in the green, let it fuse together. And here and there, if necessary, we can darken certain areas in that respect. And we'll be laying down some grass areas. And often it is useful to do underpaintings. So for this grass area, there is some underpainting of yellow and a deeper green will come later. And here we go on the little dune areas. They're not substantial, they're quite small. We're laying in some darks, letting that fuse in to the light colors. So light to dark in transparent watercolor. And this is a very good example of that in operation. Now go to a flat brush, something like a quarter or a half, whatever you feel comfortable with, so that you can get those thin strands of grasses poking up at the bottom of the painting. That helps. It's was actually in the photograph, the reference photo, but it also helps because it pushes the eye up and stops the eye leaving the bottom of the painting. So they're nice and thin. And here we are, a finished painting in our 10-minute series. I hope you have a go at this one and look forward to seeing you next time